What is going on, everybody? How are you doing today? We are the investing bros. You might be wondering why I'm talking like this. Somebody left a comment yesterday saying, why does Tim have to yell every single intro? Because we're talking about important details. There's your yelling for everybody else. For the others, the whisper, that was for you as well. Guys, we have got a great show lined up for you, but we're going to have to dive into some really juicy details. We got some experts in the space calling for major crashes for some of your favorite altcoins. What does that mean, though? Are they right? What is their analysis looking like? We're going to do the best job we can to break it down to help you better understand how to protect your investments and make sure you're investing in the right coins in the right places. So make sure you don't go anywhere. We got a lot of news and charts to break down. If you are watching on X, thank you so much for being here. We're going to be going live every single day, both on YouTube and X accounts. What you're going to do for me is no matter where you're watching, smash that like button. If you're on X, hit that follow. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe. If you're on X, hit that retweet button. That helps a lot too. But before we get into that content, we got to roll our intro. Mr. T Shroom, how are you doing today? How are the bunk beds?
Better than I deserve, Tim. The bunk beds are good. They are there, and they are keeping everybody well rested at night, which is good.
Very good.
Absolutely. How are you doing?
I am zipping around. Had a great leg day today. It's been a minute since I did like heavy leg day, just because I had not an injury, but just, as you get older in age, sometimes some body parts that used to just do things willy-nilly with no problems, they act up a little bit. So I went heavy again for the first time in probably a month and a half.
Okay.
And it was exhausting. It definitely was very fun walking up my stairs to come up here to do the show. But you know what? That's called gains, ladies and gentlemen. And those gains might be coming to your crypto portfolio soon as well. Or will they? Is it going to crash? That's what we're here to talk all about. Another thing we want to talk about here, T-Shirt and I were talking before the show, got some great advice for some people. Some of you who've been watching for a while, you will notice a lot of you guys love my technical analysis. It's one of the reasons why a lot of you watch every day. But I definitely can get a little crazy with it. Some might call me like a speed demon on the charts. Put a 1 in chat if you guys enjoy my technical analysis but have no idea what I'm talking about because it seems like it's too advanced. Put a 2 in chat if you think my technical analysis is perfect. Either way, I'm going to try to do the best job that I can to slow down and make sure I'm covering the basics in a way that you guys can understand, because I was just like you a little over 4 years ago. I would watch technical analysts talk about cryptocurrency, and I would imagine they were like astrophysicists, and it was just out of my purview of ever being capable of doing. But I learned, and I want you to know that you can learn as well. But I absolutely understand that some of you need to see things done a little slower. So what we're going to do in the show during technical analysis, I'm going to go dumb down. I'm going to go slower. Towards the end of the show during Q&A, that's when we'll go speed demon TA. Get through things, move fast and break things is what they say when you're going that fast. But yeah, hopefully you guys understand and appreciate that. And T-Shroom's going to stop me from time to time. We're going to hear more from T-Shroom.
That's right.
He's going to say, slow down, Tim. That was speed demon pace.
That's
right. Speak a little more simply to the people. So that you guys can look forward to that. It's going to be very, very good. T-Shirt, anything you want to say to people before we jump into bubbles and then charts? And we got a whole heck of a lot of articles to get into today, so I'm excited for the show. Anything you want to say?
If you're feeling exhausted from all of the sideways action here since March, since the all-time high is 73 and some change thousand Bitcoin, you're not alone. A lot of people are exhausted at these prices. Wow, how come we just got rejected at 65,000 on Bitcoin? It seems like we're never going to go higher. Strap in. Remember that every country is debasing their fiat currency. The fiat system is failing. And ever since World War II, the fiat systems have been on the way down. In 1971, when the U.S. went off the gold standard, it is when it really started. 2008 is when the housing crisis happened, and when also Bitcoin was born a year later in 2009. Bitcoin is the new gold. It is the new standard for currency around the world. Selling Bitcoin here as an investment is silly. Selling here as a trade, hopefully is strategic for you. We're going to go ahead and jump on into the bubbles and see what altcoins might be ready to scoop up. And a lot of those correlate with Bitcoin's movement. So let's do it.
Yeah, well, we're going to go over here, really, with the exception of one coin, and that is dogs, which we know very little about. This obviously is a meme coin of some kind. It went straight to it. We used to have Doge, and we had Sheeb, and we had all these other types of dog meme coins. Well, we just went straight for it with dogs. It's up 19%. With the exception of that coin, everybody else is down. You can even see some of the bigger losers like Maker and Sats both down pretty significantly. Maker 14%, Sats 13%. Injective is had a nice dip today, 11% right there. Matic kind of sneaking here behind my face is down 10%. But you're seeing that with a lot of them. Even Stacks right here, one of our favorite coins here on the channel, one of the ones that I think both T-Shirt and I own in our portfolio, down 9.2. So we're down today, right? Our portfolios are down. That is completely okay as long as we have some reason to think they're going up. And I'm going to start off with Bitcoin technical analysis because there's a lot to unpack there. And of course, Bitcoin will have a major impact on how altcoins move. But we will be discussing in this video, if you're just joining, we're going to be discussing a prediction made by actually a couple different experts in the field predicting that we might still be seeing crashes come for some of your favorite altcoins. Stick around for that. Let's start off with Bitcoin. And I promise, guys, we're going to go just a little slower today. And we're going to make sure that everything makes sense. Now, let's just kind of refresh where Bitcoin is right now, because people have been reacting to short-term price action. Every single time we get back up with momentum above 60,000, people get really excited. But then when we lose 60,000, we drop below, people start to freak out. Well, really quickly, let me calm some fears today. Zoom out, everybody. Take a look at the charts and a long-term perspective. Is that so scary right there? Not really at all, especially when you take a look at the fact that, yes, from the highs back here in March, Bitcoin has fallen as much as 33% over this time period, right? If you go back to the August 5th day where everyone was freaking out, we fell 33% from all-time highs on Bitcoin. Does that mean the bull market is over? No, it doesn't. And the reason why is because if you were to go back and look at the history of Bitcoin bull markets, but in the time periods when it's not quite ready to run parabolically, even if you don't count COVID, right? So I'll count COVID as well, but Bitcoin in 2019 rallied pretty dramatically up to 14,100, but would go on over the next couple of months to fall 53%. I'm not predicting we're going to see a 53% fall, but I want to show you that this was a time period that even though we were not going to set new lows for the bear market, we still had a significant pullback. If you include what COVID did, Bitcoin actually during a bull market, because this is not a bear market right here, this is just a pullback during a bull market, it fell 72%. I want to put that into perspective because I don't think Bitcoin is going to fall that way, but we have seen several altcoins fall just that deep. And when you look at the history of the charts in cryptocurrency, well, in trading in general, if you're newer, there's a word called volatility. Volatility. It's the easier way to say it. And it marks and defines the crypto trading space better than any other word. If you cannot handle volatility, you might not want to be investing in crypto. I know that's not what I should say here on a crypto channel where I'm trying to teach you guys how to do it, but I need to be very honest with you. If you're the type of person, maybe you came from the stock world where a 10% dip or crash is massive and could have some terrible consequences for your portfolio. In crypto, 10% dips, that's just a normal Tuesday afternoon. But if you don't know how to handle that and deal with it and understand it's a part of the investing journey, it's going to be a very long and painful and stressful investment journey for you. So just learn, you got to understand how to embrace that. Let's come back over here, though, and let's take a look at what has happened today and last couple of hours here. I want to go all the way down to the 1 hour chart. Now, a lot of this movement started crashing yesterday after we were done being live, right? So our show goes every single day from 3 to 4. And I told you guys, even before the show ended, I would not be surprised to see, where did this get to yesterday? In fact, I think we hit our levels and we were rallying during our show. We'd hit my price prediction of 61,600 and we'd start to have a small little bounce, right? That was a positive thing. However, a couple of hours later, we started to crash pretty heavily. And any one of our audience members who is a part of Stocks with Jones community, Stocks with Jones, Stocks with later, Stock with Josh. I said I mixed their names there. I do apologize because I love both of them.
That's
Stocks
funny.
with Josh. I was on his channel and I drew this yellow box. And while we were live, made sure to put this into our VIP trading group as well. Our price was crashing. We were around 60,500. And I did some quick analysis that I said, guys, look for a move at high end 60,300, low end 58,000. Well, we ended up coming down and kissing that box pretty much perfectly. And then, if that's not good enough right there, take a look at pretty darn close to where the rally ended up coming back and rejecting almost perfectly to the top of that zone that we highlighted yesterday on Stocks with Josh show, and again was put into our VIP trading group. Well, I'm throwing a lot at you. What does this mean? Well, right now, we've just seen Bitcoin price come back down today. It actually temporarily dropped just a little bit lower towards 57,800. And I want to tell you guys why this is actually a beautiful thing and has some actual long-term bullish perspective to it. The first thing is, this little level right here came down to fill out some liquidations. Let's go look at a different chart here. This is over on CoinGlass. And I use these charts frequently. Some people don't understand them, but ultimately I'm going to explain them to you again. These are charts that communicate levels where trades, whether long trades or buying levels, or shorts, which is when people try to sell the market. This tells us where the most amount of liquidations would be, or levels where trades will be destroyed. Right? And expert traders and whales love to manipulate price action of assets to get rid of all of the longs and shorts and waste all of the traders' money in the retail market so that the whales and institutions can profit all the more. Well, what you're looking at to identify key levels are bright yellow marks where you have millions, if not sometimes billions of dollars of liquidity. Well, if you take a look here, if you were to go back, let's go to a longer time frame really quickly. Let's go out to a weekly chart. Let's see what this is going to give me. You're going to see that over the last couple of days, we had a lot of liquidity down below us, that the move that came down originally at 58,000 eliminated all of our long positions. This was a kind of expected move to get rid of any retail investor who thought they were so smart they could enter a long, but their liquidity levels were posted. Well, you'll notice there's just nothing down below that level. This is actually extremely, extremely bullish. The next thing to keep an eye on are levels back up towards 65,000. And if you go out longer, where there's no yellow really below us, you see the next yellow level is all the way up at 70,000. I discussed that a little bit this morning in our video. Go check that out after this is over. But in a nutshell, the worst of the bearish move had come and gone. The question, though, is why are we dipping again? Well, even though we removed a lot of liquidity over the last couple of days, this is marking the 24 hours. This is what we have built up over the last 24 hours in trading. And check out where we have a lot of yellow. We had some up here at 60,200. We also started to build some back down here at 58,300. And if you notice how prices swung today in volatility, again, remember that word I talked about earlier, you have to embrace it. We swung to the upside and got rid of all of the short liquidations at 60,200 and then came back down in the last couple of hours. We've eliminated all of the long positions that have been created within the last 24 hours, swinging even a little bit lower and touching just below our lows from yesterday. Guess what? Now, though, there's not a lot of liquidity down below. There's more liquidity up here, back up above 60,000. Moving back to the charts, you also can go to lower time frames such as the 15-minute chart, where you can see that here over the last couple of hours, we have set a lower high in candle body closes. But when I pull up our oscillators, whether you're looking at Lux Algo, whether you're looking at MACD, or whether you're looking at RSI, while we set lower lows in price action, all of our oscillators actually set higher lows. And the reason this is very important is what we call a bullish divergence. It is a sign that even though bears pushed us to lower levels in price action, it is now time to reverse because they've exhausted all of their power, and now it's time to make a move back to the upside. So a lot of things talking about this $58,000 level, both yesterday and today, being very serious levels of support. The last thing I want to tell you guys while I'm bullish right now I told you in this morning's video, if you watched it, that we also have a potential right now to enter what we would call a short squeeze or a bear trap, where there's a lot of shorts in the market, but we could send price to the upside and squeeze them out, costing them millions of dollars. The levels we're watching that are significant levels of resistance that must be broken to confirm a move to 70,000. It's going to start off here at 62,200. Again, if you go watch my morning video, I explain why that is. But the other one, let's turn on our Lux Algo indicators. We got to get back above the daily smart trail, this red cloud right here. That is the most significant level on the daily chart of being resistance from the bulls being back in control. That mark is going to be up here towards $65,000. We got to close a daily candle above it, not just wick to it like we did twice here. You guys can see on these candles, we wicked to it back on the 23rd. We wicked to it back here on the 25th, got rejected with a double top. This time when we go back up there, we need to get above there and close at least one, if not two daily candles to reaffirm that the bulls really are back in control. And you can go off my screen now, T-Shroom, because we're going to do some more technical analysis here in a little bit about some altcoins and discuss the probability of crashes happening. But I want you guys to pair this with a lot of things we've been discussing on this show. We have had a lot of bullish details come out in the news, and not just opinion pieces, but actual critical data points that if they end up coming to fruition the way we think they will be very bullish for Bitcoin and the altcoin space. So the news has been bullish, but the prices have been all over the place, really manipulating the average investor, confusing everybody to, no end. And I want to make sure you guys understand. Let's go back to that word, volatility. If you can't handle it, you're gonna have a lot of frustration. This is actually very normal moves because the whales and the institutions, they're greedy. They want to own all the Bitcoin themselves. But if you buy it up like you can over on any centralized exchange, well, that diminishes the amount they can purchase at low levels. So they have to find some sort of way to discourage you and confuse you to sell your Bitcoin back to them. Well, that's exactly what we see happening. And all of our traders who are trying to get greedy, they're getting liquidated by the millions within the last 24 hours. This is all a part of a plan to confuse you. But all the whales, if you pay attention, you look through the details, they're buying. BlackRock, they're buying. Fidelity, they're buying. Banks, they're buying. Whales, they're buying. So everyone freaking out right now on the internet, they're wanting to see 70,000 by tomorrow night. Can I shatter some glass for you guys? 70,000 is not happening by tomorrow night. The truth is we probably need to wait into September before that happens. I think September is going to be bullish. We can talk about that on a different show. But if you cannot be patient and hold on tight and wait for those gains to come, you're going to get shook out. You're going to be discouraged. You're not going to end up making money in this market. And that's just the way that it works. There's this kind of thing that I say to people all the time. We want to help all the retail investors, but when retail investors miss the boat and miss the buying opportunities, the problem is nobody cares. Nobody cares whatsoever. It's kind of just boo-hoo, sorry. This is how it works. But when whales miss the boat, they always find a way to bring the boat back, right? So yesterday was an amazing buy level at 58,000. Some retail gobbled it up. You know what they did? They eliminated all of those trades so that all the retail investors lose out and the whales and their buddies can buy back in at that low $58,000 before we go a lot higher. That is what we're watching right now on the charts. This is what you need to be prepared for. The charts, the news, everything is still pointing to the upside. It's just a matter of when, not if. You got to be patient. T-Shroom, I went rate my technical analysis today. Was I simple? Was I still a speed demon? How do you feel like that was?
I think it was good, Tim. And the reality is we have a lot of expert traders that tune in to try to get a second opinion on the levels for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and different assets like this. What I would like to challenge you to do, Tim, is why don't you give us a short noob lesson on simple concept of support and resistance?
Yeah, well, so there's a lot that could kind of go into this, but ultimately, when you look at the history, the whole point of technical analysis is to make sure you understand significant levels of buying pressure and significant levels of selling pressure. We also call that support and resistance. You'll see lines all over my chart. You'll see indicators that have different looks to them. These ultimately are all put together to communicate to you where the psychology of the average trader is going to be wanting to buy and where they're going to be wanting to sell. And depending on the time frame you're looking at, if you're looking at, let's say, like a monthly chart, we're talking about major long-term buying and selling pressures. If I were to come all the way down to the 5-minute chart, we're talking about charts and lines that can move every couple minutes because it's so short-term and it's so new. But this is all stuff that's computing in average price action recently, where people have been buying and selling on exchanges, and also just key levels of psychological support resistance or buy and sell pressure from people. It sounds complicated and sometimes looks complicated with charts like this. But again, I tell you, if you guys stick around and stay with us and join our VIP trading group, this is the kind of stuff that we are teaching every single day. Come in and trade with us. Also, come and learn from us. We will make sure you're not left behind. Technical analysis is not as hard as some people think, but it is extremely useful for making wise investment decisions. Join the membership down today in the link down below here on YouTube. If you're on X, just come follow us over on YouTube as well and check out those links. You will not regret it. T-Shroom, let's go ahead and get into the stories. And specifically, we have over 845 people right now watching on both the accounts. I don't know how many of those are YouTube viewers and how many are X viewers, but thank you so much. If you're just joining in, smash the like, hit follow, subscribe, retweet, and share the video on YouTube too if you would like to do that. But a lot of you came in here because you saw the title about a potential altcoin crash. And there's an expert, or actually a couple of experts, predicting that this could be happening very, very soon. Well, T-Shroom and I will want to start off by telling you this is not our opinion. So we're not predicting necessary crashes, but we will analyze what other experts are saying, why they're saying it, so that you can understand better how to take in information and process it from these so-called experts to know, are they telling the truth? Is this an accurate detail? Or are there some missing links and you shouldn't be investing based off this advice? By the way, respect to everyone we're about to talk about. All of them are extremely wise people that I have learned a lot from. There are some moments, though, I disagree with them, and I think we're going to find some situations like that today.
Awesome. All right. Well, it sounds like we're going to start with some of our crypto headlines. We'll circle back to the Bitcoin headlines. Nothing wrong with that. This first bit is from Benjamin Cohen. If Solana over Bitcoin continues to follow ETH over Bitcoin, then it will get a correction before end of year and then bounce into 2025 before dropping again in 2026. And this is the graphic that's presented here from Benjamin, and it's a pretty compelling one. If you I believe he's got it on log right here, logarithmic scale. And you can see that going all the way back to 2017, you had a huge 90% drop, and then from there to the next bull market, you had a 500% increase. So this is very, very bullish. And then a similar chart down here below. So this one is Solana over Bitcoin, right? So overall here, Tim, do you agree with Benjamin Cohen's take here? And does it matter, because his conclusion ultimately is you get a bounce into 2025?
Yeah, so some good stuff here that people need to understand. First of all, the charts that he is looking at, or are looking at, English is a hard language. He's looking at not pairings of coins over the US dollar, but rather Solana over Bitcoin, and also then Ethereum over Bitcoin. And he's making a correlation that we see some similarities in their charts. And if they do see an exact repeat, Solana over Bitcoin compared to Ethereum over Bitcoin, that we should see Solana dip all the way to $85. Now, there's a couple things here that's going to be complicated to break down, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as we can. Let's talk about the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. Let's talk about Ben Cowen and predictions he's made. I want to start off by complimenting him and giving him some kudos to say, you know what? He made a very bold statement that I don't think the prediction has quite come back, but he's done pretty well and gotten very close. I think this is about roughly a year ago. Ethereum over Bitcoin was back up here sometime, again, I think August of 2023, up here at the 0.06151 level. That means for every one Bitcoin, or the value of one Ethereum or one Bitcoin was the equivalent. Let me repeat this. The value of one Ethereum is worth 0.06151 Bitcoin, right? So it just tells you the value that go back and forth, which one is picking up more value, which one's picking up less value. In this case, with the Ethereum price action, these candles going to the downside, it means Ethereum compared to Bitcoin over the last year has become significantly less valuable. Now, if you looked at the Ethereum chart, that doesn't mean that Ethereum over USD has become less valuable. In fact, it's quite the opposite. You go back to August of 2023, one Ethereum was worth $1,600. Now, one Ethereum is worth $2,500. Well, it's just that Bitcoin is just so much more valuable than it was a year ago. And therefore, that is why the ETH over Bitcoin chart, if I can get back to it, is falling despite the fact that Ethereum's actually up in price. Now, Ben Cowan made a prediction that this chart would actually send Ethereum back down to lows we saw in March of 2022, back to 0.03. This is something that I disagreed with at the time, but I'll be very honest with you. I didn't think we were going to drop below 0.4. So I'm not pretending that I'm always right. I'm just saying this is a case where Ben Cowan, he's actually been one of the few people saying that this chart would continue to go to the downside, and he was right. Will his target be right? We'll have to wait and see. But the other thing you need to know about this target is he predicted this fall would happen and that Ethereum would revisit levels such as, let's go back over the Ethereum chart. If you were to look at the same timeline, he talked about lesser than $1,000 coming back in, possibly revisiting the lows of the bear market back at $900. As you can see, we are nowhere close to revisiting all-time lows or bear market lows. We are close on the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart to going down to his levels, but there were some areas of understanding that didn't quite match up. He was right that ETH over Bitcoin would drop to the downside, but he was wrong about the price of Ethereum. And now this brings us back to the question of Solana. And thank you so much, moderators, for helping here on YouTube get rid of the scammers. We got a lot of them today. And unfortunately, that's just how YouTube sometimes goes. So moderators, thank you so much. Let's get back into it. Solana over Bitcoin, you cannot lie that it has some similar movements here that we have. And this chart does not show us the long history, but let's go back. I think I have his tweet here as well. Let me make sure I get the right one. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Let's just kind of look at these comparisons. I got to zoom out just a little bit so we can see these. That's a very similar looking movement. Solana over Bitcoin down here, Ethereum over Bitcoin down here. Until this big dip, they are similar looking charts, but I want to start off by letting you guys know it is a little bit of a logical fallacy to say that just because one chart made a certain movement, the other chart should do the same thing. This is a slightly manipulated chart to give a convenient truth. The first thing I'll notice here is the timeline is extremely, extremely different. If you notice down here, we're looking at time frames. This says 2016. Over here says 2028. Versus when I look at Solana, April of 2020, and the furthest we get over to here is to 2025, right? So while these charts look the same, they're completely different time frames. They're also completely different coins. And saying that one coin is going to mimic the exact movement of another coin is a big, big leap that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. What's more important to take a look at here, and if we go back over to Ethereum over Bitcoin, is the question did we see signs? Did we see signs that this market was overextended and needed to correct? I'm looking at Ethereum over Bitcoin right now, and what you'll see is we were coming up and hitting some red cloud movements, and as we started to come to the downside, I'm doing a little speed demon TA here, people, so stay with me. There was just resistance after resistance, overextended oscillators. If you were to come up to larger timeframes like the monthly, there we go, overextended marks, very, very much so. And now we're just now hitting, as we hit major support, we're hitting oversold oscillator price action, which actually could be extremely bullish. I digress, though. Let's take a look at Solana over Bitcoin in this same time frame. This is actually quite different. We are not screaming on the monthly chart, massively oversold on Solana. If we were to come down to the weekly chart, we were way oversold way back here, but we've kind of paid the penance and we've hit major levels of support here more recently, even on the weekly chart. So we're already right now seeing very different technical analysis on these charts. But the other thing I would say is to say, let's just pretend that we do see a nice pullback. I believe it's a 55% pullback on Solana over Bitcoin, similar to what we saw with Ethereum over Bitcoin. Let's say that we do see a pullback to 0.001450. The theory that Ben Cowan has is that this would bring also a major correction to the price of Solana, bringing us back down towards $85. And that is where I will very much squarely disagree with him, because that is not necessarily a rational argument to make. I also want to take a look here at the Solana chart itself and have you guys notice, take a look at the bullishness of this chart. I told you guys Bitcoin from a zoomed out perspective earlier. Take a look at Solana. People have been complaining about this price action because they like to look at it like this. They like to look at like a 1 hour chart or a 4 hour chart. Let's go 4 hour, little less information. They look at it like this and they say, oh, look at these massive dips. I mean, look at this huge correction from July 29th down to that bottom on August 5th. Just a massive crash in Solana. And people get very pessimistic and very discouraged. But when you take that zoomed out approach, you'll notice, oh my gosh, that is just a small blip on the radar for Solana. This overall move has been absolutely amazing. And right now, we're at a decision point. As I zoom back in here, we're at a decision point in a sweet little trading zone of whether we want to break bullish or bearish. And what we're seeing right now, I would put the trajectory of this being a greater possibility of bullishness since we rallied up into it in the bullish fashion. But with the exception of two peaks here, $190 has been very strong resistance. Remember we talked about it earlier, selling pressure for the price of Solana. But if you come down here on average over the last couple of months, $120 has been amazing buy levels, amazing support levels. And when I start to turn on our indicators and I start to take a look at what the possibility is, bullish or bearish, while I see support down below us and I see potential predictions saying we could come back down closer towards that 120, I also see a lot of positivity on the charts when we come up to larger time frames, things that are telling us the bottom for this pullback is in. We're touching support, but it's time to make a move back to the upside. You guys are seeing some stuff on here. Some of you know what this is. This is a bullish breaker block. It's also our weekly smart trail, two very strong levels of support. Both of them have been tested and have held up quite nicely. The only reason to freak out on Solana is if we lose the 120 with significance. If we were to close a weekly candle, or dare I say maybe even a daily candle, I don't think we've done that. If we closed a daily candle on Solana below $120, let's have a different conversation. Let's talk about the possibility of Solana dropping to $85. But right now, I'm seeing more support on the Solana over USD chart. I'm seeing support on Solana over Bitcoin chart. It also is a completely different time frame than Ethereum over Bitcoin. And I know I've lost a lot of you probably to this point, so I'm going to transition away from here. The overall arcing story here is charts can be conveniently made to make any call you want them to make. But when you study details individually, when you're looking for basic understanding of support and resistance and power of the fundamentals, everything is saying that $85 for Solana, it's a dream. I would love to buy some down there, but the probability of me getting that possibility of that chance again is extremely, extremely low. More than likely, you need to be preparing yourself for a much larger move to the upside on that altcoin. Now, that's not the only one, and that's not the only one we're calling for a crash. There's two other coins that people that are experts in the space and people are very intelligent are saying to run away from. T-Shroom, let's transition into those.
Absolutely, Tim, and I think you did a phenomenal job, even with some Speed Demon TA in there. XRP and Cardano are dead. Market Pundit agrees with Raul Paul. And it's very interesting who this Market Pundit is, being cited by thecryptobasic.com. We'll get to it in just a second, but first let's hear from Raul. Raul Paul, CEO of Real Vision and billionaire, very successful trader and investor, said publicly encouraged crypto enthusiasts to consider investing in assets other than XRP and ADA, Cardano. Paul argued that staying overly attached to these tokens could lead to missed opportunities in the broader market. Let's start there, Tim. Do you generally agree with what Paul is saying here, that getting it too attached to XRP or ADA or any project is going to lead to missed opportunities in the broader market? Is that a fact, a true statement, or do you disagree with it fundamentally?
Yeah, so I'm going to have a complicated answer, but I want to start by just saying he's not wrong. And what I mean by he's not wrong is you need to be in a place when you're investing where you're not emotionally attached. And I'm not going to lie to anyone. I'm not going to try to stretch the truth or manipulate details or data to make a point as if XRP and Cardano have been phenomenal, because they haven't been. Both of these projects, with their massive communities and massive hype that keeps saying we're going to go higher and higher and higher, they have been severely disappointing. So for Raoul Pal to come out and say, hey guys, it's not the worst idea in the world to detach yourself from the excitement of these coins and find something else that will do better, he's right on in saying don't attach yourself to coins emotionally. Look for things that actually pump. My point here would be, Raul, where else do you want to go here? I'm okay if we switch, but tell me a coin that you think is a slam dunk rally right here, right now. And I can tell you, we were just looking at Solana. I'm not predicting Solana goes down to 85, but it's one of the hottest altcoins, and it still is looking at a possibility that it could dip a little bit lower back down towards 120. It's not flashing. Solana is not flashing and saying we're at a major buying level this very second. We're close. We might be at the bottom, but we have to wait for some things to confirm. But tomorrow, if you buy Solana today, $1,000 investment in Solana is not going to turn into $2,000 tomorrow. In fact, there's a lot of altcoins that are in the same boat. I'm bullish on them long term. But what's our time horizon here, Raul? What's our time horizon in saying that this coin is better than this coin, better than this coin, better than this coin? As a whole, nothing in crypto has been a slam dunk investment for the last couple of months. The Bitcoin dominance just continues to climb up, up, up and to the right. But at the same time, the price action of Bitcoin is setting lower highs and lower lows. Well, if the dominance of Bitcoin is going up and the price of Bitcoin is going down, that means altcoins are being slaughtered. So as a whole, taking a look at Cardano and XRP and saying they're disappointing, it's absolutely truthful. But the entire altcoin space is disappointing. Yeah, you have a couple pumps on some meme coins. Yeah, you have a couple of coins that have had some exciting runs. But as a whole, altcoins have not been the greatest investment over the last 3 months. Part of the reason why is because what I just mentioned. Bitcoin dominance climbs to the upside. Bitcoin dominance does not climb during alt seasons where altcoins do the most of their damage. Let's take a look here, T-Shroom, at a chart so I can kind of better explain this. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. I just mentioned it. This just tracks of all of cryptocurrencies market caps put together. How much percentage belongs solely to Bitcoin? And if you look at the chart, we've gone as high, a long time ago, Bitcoin was darn near close to 100% because it was only Bitcoin for a while. It was the only crypto for a while, and then there was just very few. But the first major alt season happened back in March of 2017, where Bitcoin's dominance, the price of Bitcoin did not fall dramatically, but the dominance just fell terribly from 96% over the next couple of weeks down here to 61, over the next couple of weeks down here to 50%, had a small little rally, and then would crash to the top of the bull market. But that means Bitcoin's at an all-time high, but the dominance at an all-time low back here at 35%. Well, what was happening in this time period? Altcoins were going berserk. Let's fast forward. We get into the bear market of 2018 and the Bitcoin dominance starts to climb again. Bitcoin's price is falling, altcoins are falling, but the Bitcoin dominance is going up. And while we saw some volatility, there's that word again, we didn't see altcoins go crazy until when? Well, look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, December of 2020, or you can make an argument January of 2020 because we're looking at a weekly chart. You can see a nice peak, a blow off top on Bitcoin dominance, followed by a just crazy fall. Back down, Bitcoin would fall all the way to 39% in dominance during the bull market. Take a look at the Total 3 chart. Now, Total 3 excludes the market cap of Bitcoin and Ethereum, but tells you where the rest of the altcoin space moves dramatically. And remember the dates I told you. Let's just focus on 2020 and 2021. While we saw altcoins rallying here and kind of being, up and down, altcoins really didn't move that specially here during the bottom of the bear market and the early stages of the bull market. But take a look at the date things started getting interesting. December/January of 2021, corresponding perfectly with the Bitcoin dominance collapse. What I'm saying here is people are judging, you go off my screen now, T-Shirt. People are judging altcoins and saying, man, I'm not getting 100% pumps in altcoins like I was a couple of months ago, or I haven't seen one in a couple of years. Are altcoins dead? Oh, this XRP and Cardano, they're significantly down in price. Yeah, we should just go ahead and give up on them and find something else that's better. To which I ask the question, until altcoin season, frankly, you're not going to find anything better. This is the part of the market where Bitcoin dominance climbs, where alts might even slowly climb as Bitcoin goes towards new levels. But as Bitcoin makes its move from now to 100K, which I still think happens before the end of 2024, alts will trickle behind. They won't be going crazy. You're not going to see altcoins doing 6Xs, 10Xs over the next couple of months. You're going to see them just slowly but surely stay behind pop of Bitcoin, and then something will flip. And I'm predicting in December or January, Bitcoin is probably at this point at or above $100,000. People will take profits from Bitcoin and they will move them over into the more risky assets, those we call altcoins, and they will take off like a firecracker out of hell. That is how history has always worked for altcoins. And if you even want to be very specific with it, let's take a look at Cardano. And I'm not going to spend too much more time here with the technical analysis. We're going to get into some other stories and then have some Q&A later. But take a look at Cardano back in that same bear market we were just referencing. And I've said this so many times. Some of you have heard it, but I want to make sure that anyone who's newer here, you appreciate what we're talking about. All right, so let's just kind of run through this. All-time highs. Bull market, 2018, top, blow off top, boom. Cardano's price would fall over the next year 98%. Is that coin dead? Ooh, no, but it's pretty hurt. Then you have this pre-bull market rally, right? We're not into the explosive phase yet, but Cardano actually had a nice little early bull market run where it rallied 300%. That's what we call a 4X. Guess what? Does that mean that Cardano's back? No. Cardano then over the next couple of months would make a massive fall even without COVID, 70% to the downside. If you don't think back in December of 2019, after a 70% fall in what was supposed to be a bull market, people were claiming that Cardano was dead, then you're kidding yourselves. I guarantee you there were people just like Raoul Pal and others saying, guys, get out of Cardano. It's the worst investment. You're not going to make it. You're going to get screwed. Sell it now. You're going to take a loss, but get into something better. Well, if you had done that, you would have made a major mistake because T-Shroom, let's not even talk about COVID days. Let's just say you bought the bottom or held the bottom on December of 2019 to the all-time highs in 2021. You would have seen a 9,800% return. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a 99.5x return on your investment. Cardano, of every major cryptocurrency, was the number one gainer. But those people who said it was dead, they missed out on all of it. What do I mean here? What am I talking about? I'm not predicting Cardano's about to do another 98% rally. That's not the point of this. The point is, just because charts are dramatically down and disappointing, and just because the time period that we are in right now, based off the markets, altcoins are not exciting and doing anything explosive, does not mean these projects are dead. It does not mean these projects will not have a great bull run. It just means, hey guys, we're not in alt season. Hey guys, altcoins fall dramatically, sometimes as much as 70% before things really get good. The real question is, where are the fundamentals of that project? Where is the community of that project? Are they continuing to develop and grow despite negative price action? Because companies that stop doing that in the bear markets, those are the ones to run away from. But if you see an altcoin or a stock or anything that is down 70%, but you look at the fundamentals of what's going on and say, well, they're still cooking with grease, taking that from yesterday. They're still doing a lot. Now, all of a sudden, you switch from saying this coin is disappointing to saying, man, this coin has opportunity. That same opportunity that Cardano had back in 2019 to rally almost 100x from those lows, there will be other opportunities with altcoins just like Cardano and XRP, maybe not 100x, but could we see Cardano from these current prices of 35 cents get up possibly over $7, a 20x? Absolutely, we could. Could we see XRP that's currently trading around 57 cents get itself up over $6 to $7? We could. I know people are very bearish. I know people hate it. But to judge a cryptocurrency off of this current market and this time period It's a little foolhardy. It's a little too early. Let's come back and judge them in January. In January, if these coins are performing poorly, I will 1000% say, guys, it's time to give up on Cardano. It's time to give up on XRP. It's time to give up on any coin that is not making major moves because they are dead. That's the time to say it, not August of 2024.
And look, it's possible. Like, it's possible that we get there. And the your favorite coin hasn't pumped. Maybe it's not Cardano. Maybe it's not XRP. Maybe it's something else like that hasn't gotten even anywhere near as much attention as those two projects with strong communities. So we'll keep moving though. Got a breaking news headline here. Telegram's Ton blockchain stops processing transactions again after going offline for 7 hours yesterday. You read that right. It was down yesterday for an extended period of time, 7 hours. They got it back up, but as of about a half hour ago, it is back down, unfortunately. So not been a good week for Toncoin. They got their CEO, their fearless leader, unfortunately behind bars in France, facing some charges there. And now their blockchain is down, the Toncoin blockchain. So, that's not good. Now, should you buy? Should you sell? I personally, with this type of a headline, I'm going to wait and see what happens for a little bit. There was already a pretty decent sell-off with the CEO going to jail and being arrested, whatever. And so that's not good. But we want to see kind of what happens from here before I make a move. I have the luxury of not being in Toncoin at all, right? So my heart rate is staying low. It's really just an opportunity if I wanted to buy into it. But if you're holding a bunch of Toncoin, I wouldn't necessarily sell it, right? This has been one of the best, most successful coins of 2023, and it has done well in 2024. I would be very wary to sell your Toncoins, especially if you're at a loss. I'm not saying not to sell it. I'm just saying I'd be very wary to sell those because it is a strong project, and it has. In my opinion, it's leading the pack in terms of social media coins. Tim, were you going to chime in on Toncoin breaking news?
No, I don't have any breaking news. I think so. This is the kind of stuff I'm about to say. I'm about to confuse people because I'm about to say something negative and then potentially say something positive. So stay with me here. These are the types of things that I'm not saying that we call Toncoin dead. But remember I said when a coin's price action is disappointing, you have to take a look at the fundamentals. Well, one of the causes of such a disappointing price action is twice in the last week, they've just completely frozen it. Now, it is good news to hear that the founder of Telegram is out of prison. That's very good, and I think that gives us a lot of hope. But those are the types of things you look at and say, okay, is this coin dead? To which case, I'm going to say for now, no, it is not. From a technical standpoint, T-Shirm, it's been a minute since we did technical analysis on Toncoin because the last time I did it, which would have been months ago, at least way back here in July, we were tracking a rising wedge pattern. And I remember this. I don't know if people in chat remember this. I drew this formation. I said, listen, guys, I know Toncoin is hot right now and everyone's loving it, but this is a very bearish formation that will need to see the price probably fall at least back down to $5.31. And there were people in chat that said, Tim, you're nuts. They're doing so many amazing things. Toncoin is just getting started. It's rallying to the moon. But I said, no, guys, this is a bearish formation. I could be wrong. It could go up, but this is something that tells me I think we go to the downside. Well, sure enough, back in August, we dipped. And even this terrible news has happened here recently. The news that should make people question, hey, fundamentally, can this coin make it? Take a look at where the price just came back down to. It just came back down to match some of those same lows we had back in August. Not setting a lower low here. I do not want to understate how bullish that actually could be for Toncoin in telling us of an amazing opportunity. Anyone who's watching, again, I told you I was want to teach you what I mean by lower low or higher low or anything. You always want to be tracking the trends of how any asset is moving. You want to track the power and the volatility of how it's moving. And those are tools that I teach the VIP trading group how to read and understand to predict future price action. In this case, we had a golden opportunity to come lower than this wick right here back on August 5th at $4.77. We had an opportunity and a great reason for Toncoin to go even lower. It didn't. You want to know why? It's a very simple answer. More people bought than sold when price got to this range at $5.10.
Nice.
It really is that simple. This is how these things work. But what that communicates is despite terrible, terrible, terrible news, the buyers still see this as an opportunity moving forward. And the fact that we kept a higher low, meaning we did not even drop as low as August 5th, is actually a short-term, temporary, bullish perspective. I want to take a look at another thing. Sure enough, I thought it was going to be this way, but I want to say this and we'll move on. Take a look here at candle body closes, where we actually did close candles lower here on the daily chart. But look at what the prices did and what the oscillators did. So candle body close back here, August 6th, $5.29. If you fast forward over here to August 26th, $5.11. That's a lower low. What we were just talking about, it's a lower level where a daily candle closed. Why is that significant? Because that is what you use to correspond to oscillators that are setting higher lows. We see it on Luxalgo, we see it on MACD, and we see it on the RSI. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call strong bullish divergence. It's a reversal pattern that says, hey, yeah, the bears pushed us down again. They even pushed that candle close to a lower level, but they did it running out of strength. Their time of strength is coming to an end. It's now time to look to the upside. We hit our long-term price prediction of that rising wedge pattern. We've now seen bullish divergence. These are key levels to actually say, you know, this dip that we just saw on Toncoin, yeah, it seems disastrous, seems disappointing. Or is it an opportunity? And that opportunity is still very, very close. If you don't have Toncoin, but you think you should, you might not get a better option than the kind of prices we're seeing right now.
Yeah. For me as a long-term investor, when it comes to Toncoin, I've reconciled myself to say I missed the boat, right? I don't like buying projects that are this far along in the bull run. I like to DCA into projects that I am confident in and that I already own. But that's just my strategy. That does not necessarily mean you have to do it that way. Let's keep moving. We actually had some more breaking news here. This one's from the chat. Susan Trum said, breaking news, love is always the best investment. Tim, do you agree with that?
Listen, I don't think I'm legally allowed to disagree with Mama Shrum, so I have to agree.
That's right.
It's on our contract.
That's right. And just a clarification, Telegram founder and CEO Pavel Durov has been released from police custody, so that part is true, but he is being transferred to court. So it's not like he's out scot-free, trotting around and back to jet setting and setting, freedom of speech ablaze. He still got more to that story for sure over in France. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump on it. We talked a lot about altcoins and crypto. Let's get back into Bitcoin. Bitcoin bounce fizzles, in case you didn't notice, on Nvidia's slide ahead of earnings adds to risk-off mood. We talked about Nvidia, what was it, on Monday? A little bit about previewing that. This is happening today after market close, I think around 5 p.m. So not directly at market close at 4 p.m., but 5 p.m. Helping to push the NASDAQ lower was a 3% fall in Nvidia, NVDA ticker, ahead of its quarterly earnings results due after the bell on Wednesday. Though still a bit off from its all-time high set earlier this summer, Nvidia remains up 159% year-to-date, leaving plenty of room below should the company disappoint on either its quarterly or its outlook, its quarterly earnings or its outlook. So what we can see is that Nvidia is kind of the linchpin holding a lot of risk assets together. At least that's what the market is trying to communicate to investors. That there is a big chance that that's manipulation in and of itself, trying to FUD investors out of risk assets across the board, maybe to get them to buy bonds, maybe just to have strength in the dollar. Who knows what the motivation is? But more than likely, it's the classic motivation, right? Is to get you to sell low so that others can buy low so that they can sell high. Never let anything convince you to buy high and sell low. You always want to do the opposite. You always want to buy low, sell high. Simple, T-Shroom. Yes, it's simple, but so many people forget that every single day. So, Tim, overall here, we don't know, nobody knows what the earnings and what the outlook are going to be for NVIDIA. But let's say we do get a miss, which would be the first time in, 6 prints, so 6 quarters.
Yeah.
It'd be the first time we got a miss. Do you think that goes ahead and that tumples the market? And is that what's bringing Bitcoin's price lower? Why we didn't even get a chance to go up and test new highs in that price exploration to the upside? Is it because the market's scared of Nvidia?
Yeah, I think there's ways to connect Bitcoin and Nvidia. You can make the argument as AI and chip creation gets hurt potentially now it's affecting the miners, which can have effect. But I think that's really stretching it. I want to keep this simple for people. Nvidia's only relationship you should have for Bitcoin is just overall market sentiment. If people are afraid that Nvidia's miss constitutes a larger scale concern about the economy, that could be bad for Bitcoin. As a whole, though, I want to make sure people know this. I know someone in chat said Nvidia missed. We don't know that yet. We don't know until 5 p.m.
Fake news.
Let's take a look at charts right now and see what we're kind of looking at and why potentially Nvidia fell at all during this time period. It's actually slightly back up here over the last couple of hours. But look at this formation. Let me zoom in and I'm going to explain. Some of you guys see what I'm working on right now. Some of you are jumping ahead because you're speed demons in the TA space, and that's not me. And T-Stream's muted. So if you're saying something witty, we didn't get it.
I was just saying I don't see what that big stray line is unless that's a price prediction to the downside. So we'll see.
Oh, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. You just wait. Let's start with the short-term stuff. Since back here, the high of August 19th, we've been moving in what we would call a bearish trend, lower lows, right, and lower highs. This is a descending channel. Now, these more often than not break to the upside, but they usually have to wait for some sort of a catalyst. So did Nvidia's price pull back today because people are certain that Nvidia is going to miss? That's not a guarantee. In fact, it could be a manipulative move. We've seen a lot in the crypto markets where right before we're about to get an amazing data point, the markets actually sell off, giving us a good reason to move to the upside. Either way, from a simple chart perspective, we had hit this level of resistance yesterday, and there is no news sparking any type of rally. So if we want to keep the markets moving, the only way to go is to the downside. Sure enough, we came back down, tested our support level, and now we wait in anticipation as we are just over an hour away from hearing, and we're not going to be live for this. We'll put it in our Discord. We'll probably tweet about it. But we're an hour away from hearing these reports. If these are bullish, T-Shroom, let's be positive here. If they're bearish, we could go down. If we're bullish, though, it's not just this little formation. It's what's attached to this formation. If you scroll out here, let's go to the 4-hour chart where it looks a little prettier here. Since this dip back here on August 8th, when Nvidia came in at $97.52, we have been on a very quick and fast rally up in here to the high of August 19th. If you do speed demon TA, you guys have already connected the dots. If you don't, I'll explain to you. This is a formation we would call a flagpole. Extremely fast and almost nothing but bullish price action. No significant bearish moves, no major levels of crashing or dipping. Everything was pretty much bullish from the time period of August 8th all the way to August 19th. Then we've now been in a small session of small sideways action, slightly downward. This is what we call a flag. When attached to a flagpole, this is a flag. Well, if we clone that flagpole, which is what I did, and you move it to the last significant level of support, what we need right now is some sort of spark to go bullish. Well, in about an hour, there's a chance we get great returns, great earnings, in which case, over the next couple of weeks, this could send us up to new highs with a flagpole prediction of $164. Am I guaranteeing it's going to happen? No, I'm not. We got to wait for the information. But this is what the charts are saying. Even with this 3% pullback and the FUD that's being pushed out with the news, T-Shroom, is this all a part of the grander plan that there are people out there right now that know what these numbers are going to look like? They're going to go ahead and wait for their right opportunity to act on it. But was this whole thing a setup to confuse people? And then boom, we get the bullish call, we get the bullish news, and Nvidia can't trade until tomorrow, but a lot of people will find a way to buy it after hours. And I would not be surprised if those calls are high to see, if the calls are good, let me explain that, to see tomorrow's market open up probably back up here towards 130, well on its way to rallying majorly to the upside. And again, 164 could be in the cards. That, of course, would be a new all-time high. And we talked about this Monday, but you guys see these 6 red lines. These are the last 6 earnings report all of them were favorable. And with the exception of this one right back here in November of 2023, all of these led to bigger rallies coming over the next couple of days or weeks. This one just might be the biggest one yet, though. We'll keep you posted on it.
Absolutely, Tim. Well, that's the preview there of that. We do have another breaking news out of France this week.
A lot of breaking news.
A lot of breaking news. A lot of fun. France officially indicts Telegram founder Pavel Durov, placing him under supervised release. So another term that we almost know the meaning of, that kind of tells the tale of this unfortunate narrative for Mr. Pavel Durov as he makes his way through the legal system there in France. Mm-hmm. All right. Other than that, we'll take a quick look here at the odds. I'll refresh the page here at the odds here from Polymarket for a 50 basis point hike. I believe this has come down since yesterday. 73. This is basically the same. So still 25 basis point hike is what the betting markets are expecting from the Fed in September. And then we would be we'll take a quick little snapshot here. Take a look at that for what it is.
Very quick look.
And then over here we've got the core PCE. Someone mentioned this in the chat. This is going to be important. The Nvidia print today, earnings print, is going to be important, right? But I think this is going to be more important. This is the core PCE price index month over month. Depending on how this goes, the previous was 0.2. They're forecasting the same PCE level. Depending on how this prints on Friday, August 30th, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on how that comes out, right, that could definitely tip this market, right, one way or the other. We could see a 50 basis point hike in September based off of that print. Because what does the Fed love to do, and what are they consistent in doing, is following the data. Say what you want about the Fed, say what you want about Jay Powell. They do say they're going to follow the data, and they do follow the data. Sometimes they shouldn't because they're too late. Way late on adjusting their policy, but at least they do seem to follow the data. Not that the data is worth following, but they're consistent.
And this is going to be something over the next 2 days. Both of these data points will have impact on what we look at over the next little bit for Bitcoin, for markets. Drop a yes in chat. I just want to hear people say yes. I want to see comments. T-shirt, I'll make the decision tonight, but I want to know your thoughts. Would you like to see us go live over the next 2 mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? Rather than getting a pre-record, would you want us just to go live to cover the announcements for both GDP and PCE and watch the markets open up and how they respond? Type yes in chat. Type yes in comments. Comment on X yes as well. We'll take your votes into consideration.
Yep, absolutely.
Say no if you don't want it, by the way. Say no if you just want us to do regular 10-minute videos.
Let us know. And if this has all been really exciting to you, but you feel like you only understood maybe 10% of what the heck these two guys were talking about, don't worry, you're not alone, right? We do tend to get a little bit advanced sometimes in the news and on the charts, but look no further than our Discord. You can find us in Discord, and you can learn everything that we've been talking about. We have Fundamental Fridays coming up. On Friday, we'll go deep on a lot of the fundamental side of crypto and crypto project analysis. And then also, all throughout the week, we have live events in our Discord where Tim will take you deeper in learning how to trade like a pro. You can earn a lot of income through trading crypto assets, and you can also lose a lot of money. And let us protect you from yourself by joining the Discord. And you can find that link to the Discord below right here. Just go right below the video that you're watching and sign up for one of the Brolux memberships to get cooking and learning how to trade or invest in crypto.
We're going to wrap it up here in a second. Mark Ryan says, how important are those numbers/news? Very important, because that data points will affect the Fed's decision on if they want to cut rates, keep rates paused, if they want to raise rates, which I think is very unlikely, or even scarier, if they want to cut them significantly. It's very dicey details. We'll cover that tomorrow morning. T-Shroom, before we go, because we have to get this in here, I think I'm 1-1 right now, right? Today's Wednesday. Am I mistaken? Man, weeks just go together. I'm 1-1 right now, I think, or am I 0-2 on the factoids of the day? Do you remember?
No, I do not. I don't know why we've all of a sudden kept track of aggregated.
Because we have to get 3 of them. We have to have 3 factoid answers right to give a giveaway on Saturday's show. By the way, everybody, make sure to smash that like button. Here on YouTube, we had over 700 people. Over in X, I think at one point I saw 300. Thank you so much for you guys being here. Smash the like, hit follow, hit subscribe, retweet, share the video. Let's get the factoid of the day. We'll hash out the voting thing later and find out if I had enough right or not.
Tim, you're going to make a bunch of money in crypto, okay? But you got to pay taxes on it. And I know that you trust decrypted.tax for your personal and professional tax. It's who I trust too. And it's who's making this episode possible for you all to watch. Let's get into the factoid presented by decrypted.tax.
You muted yourself and you went to my screen, so it's a double.
Which river flows through the city of Paris? Is it the Danube, the Thames? Is it the Seine, or is it the Rhine? Come on, Tim.
I know it's not the Thames because that's in England.
Oh, okay.
But
Very
I don't know.
Very confident.
I don't know Paris that well. But the good news is I guarantee people in chat know. So unless you guys just want to ruin the ability to give a giveaway here, you guys should help me with the right answer. And I'm seeing an overwhelming Seine or Seine. I don't know how you pronounce that in French.
The Seine.
The Seine. Okay, well,
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly the Seine. This is what we're going with. C. Thank you so much to the people. You guys seem very confident. I'm very glad you guys know your geography a lot better than me. Am I right? There we go.
There you go, Tim. It goes right on through the city of Paris, where your boy Pavel is unfortunately being held by the cops there. So
now, does that river flow north?
I do not know the answer to that question, Tim.
Because the entry point or the where it touches a major body of water is to the north.
My guess is that it does not flow north. But who knows? I think there's
that's
only a few rivers.
That's a secondary factoid. Which way does that river flow? Does it flow north or south? Please help us out. Guys, that's going to wrap up today's show. A little bit long, a little bit different. Give us feedback. Did you like basic, slowed down Tim? Do you prefer Speed Demon? We always want to get better and produce more content, no matter where you are, though, whether you're more advanced and you want to go even further or whether you're brand new to investing, trading, whatever it is. I want you to know it is possible that you can learn. This is not rocket science. This is not chaos. It might look like it, but if you have the will to learn, we have the ability to teach you. Just come join our VIP trading group. Join our membership options. They're in the link down below. You will not regret it. With that said, though, we love you guys. All of our members, we're going live in Discord. All of our YouTube members going live in Discord right after this. So we'll see some of you guys there. The rest of you will see you tomorrow morning, probably at 9 a.m. because it's looking like we're getting a lot of yeses. But we'll see you there. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. Teach rooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.